can an employer require an employee to disclose whether they were vaccinated? My name is Ron Minken, and I'm with Minken Employment Lawyers. The short answer is it depends on the circumstances and the workplace. As COVID vaccines roll out across Canada, more and more employers and businesses are grappling with how to manage vaccinated and unvaccinated employees. With vaccine refusals, vaccine hesitancy, and medical contraindications, employer demands for proof of vaccination may be met with 1. Privacy complaints, 2. Lawsuits, 3. Ministry of Labor complaints, and 4. Claims of discrimination under human rights legislation. The first question for an employer to ask is for what purpose they are inquiring whether an employee has gotten a vaccination or requiring a vaccination certificate. Employers have a duty to provide a safe workplace under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, especially as employees may start returning to physical workspaces. How important is vaccination to the workplace given the practice of masking and social distancing? And if many at the workplace are already vaccinated and masking and social distancing, then why require certain other employees to vaccinate? What about the size of the workplace in relation to the number of employees? So given this purpose, can an employer require an employee to provide proof that they were vaccinated? A joint statement was released in respect of privacy of COVID-19 passports from the Office of the Privacy Commissioner of Canada. The Privacy Commission has warned that requiring employees to provide proof of vaccination is an encroachment on civil liberties that should be done only after careful consideration. It referred to balancing the company's purpose with an employee's privacy rights and meeting all of the following conditions to require disclosure. 1. Necessity. 2. Proportionality. And C. Effectiveness. So what types of workplaces might this criteria be met? Well, if an employee is working in, let's say, close proximity to others, perhaps in a production line, in a factory, and is unable to perform their job from home, then it is possible for the employer to require proof of vaccination. However, if the employee can work from home, work from an office that maintains or can maintain social distance, especially with limited contact with the public, then it is less likely the employer can require proof of vaccination. If the employer is going to require proof, what kind of proof should be requested? Should the employer ask for verbal confirmation or documentation? The employee's privacy rights will need to be taken into account when determining the type of proof required. An employer should use the least invasive method to obtain confirmation of the employee's vaccination. For example, in some cases it may be enough to obtain verbal confirmation that the employee was vaccinated. Another way to maintain an employee's privacy rights may be to ask for documentation, but to not copy it and just visually examine it in front of the employee before returning it. This ensures the employer gets documented proof without actually making a copy or placing it in the employee's file, thereby respecting the employee's privacy rights. An employer making a copy of the proof that the employee was vaccinated is the most invasive measure to an employee's privacy. If an employer chooses to do this, then the least amount of private information should be obtained. And of course, always seek the employee's written consent before making a copy of any private medical documentation. In this situation, the employer should explain how the medical information will be used and stored. Also, all efforts should be made to ensure the information is confidential, keeping it secure and protected. Finally, the employer should not use the proof of vaccination documentation that they have collected for any purpose other than ensuring that COVID-19 risks are minimized. The employer should also ensure that they only share the information collected on a need-to-know basis. If it is necessary to disclose vaccination rates to management or the executives of the company, then do so without naming any employees or providing any data that could lead to the identification of employees. In summary, each employer must consider the objective of balancing the safety and privacy of employees in deciding what safety practices will be implemented in their workplace. Tune in next time where we discuss whether you can require an employee to disclose which vaccine they took. Thanks so much for tuning in to Minken Employment Lawyers.